I would rate my family's efforts like about 7, because in my family they're like really strict, especially my mom. Of like, if we enter a room and we leave, we have to close the lights, or if I put my phone on charge and whenever I unplug it, I have to close the switch. Otherwise, my mom will get mad.
Conservation of energy is a very important subject in my family, and I think we've tried our best to conserve it. Maybe using electrical heaters, turning the lights off and on, use saving water. So I would rate it about 7 out of 10.
I would rate it a 6.5 because my family members aren't really aware of it. So in a way, we take it almost for granted. So it's more of like a 6.5.
To be fair and honest, I would rate my family's household consumption of electricity at 7 on a scale of 1 to 10. And we take a lot of efforts in order to reduce our consumption of electricity. We make the most minimalistic uses. For instance, while leaving the house or not using appliances, we turn off the switches and the lights, and we also do not use the AC when it's not required air conditioning, when the weather was fine in the UAE.
My family actually puts in a lot of effort to conserve electricity. For example, if a room which has no one in it and the lights are on, mostly I take the initiative to turn them off. So and multiple other measures are being taken by me and my family. So I would rate them a 7.
It's important to save electricity because we are wasting a lot of it, and there are so many people who do not get electricity, like in our home country and other developing countries, and we shouldn't waste energy, and we should also save energy for our future generations.
Energy is made using fossil fuels, and I think fossil fuels, as everyone knows, are non-renewable. So I think that using them up, depleting them, is not so good for the future generation. So that is why I think energy should be conserved, and because it's sustainable for the future generation as well.
It's important because electricity comes from these resources that are non-renewable and limited. So in order for our future generation to be able to use it, we need to conserve it now.
Well, in order to have a sustainable future and to ensure a more successful future for the further generations to come, it's absolutely vital.
I think it's important to do so as using anything unnecessarily is actually bad, and also not only will the environment be affected, but also some of the habits are distorted and stuff like that.
Yes, I am very aware, especially in my home country. The light always goes out because there's not much electricity, and now we're just wasting it over here and at our home, at our workplace, everywhere.
Yes, I am, because in my home country as well, there's a lot of overload of electricity, and they can range from power supply cuts to bigger issues as well.
Yeah, it's all over media. Media raises awareness about it, especially in developing countries. There are a lot of shortages.
Well, yes, majority of electricity will have to be produced currently from, fossil fuels and unrenewable sources. And overuse of these could mean more use of the fossil fuels, and this can add on to more pollution. And a lack of electricity around the world will mean lower lifestyles, lower levels of lifestyles for people around the world.
Yes, for example, in my home country, many people do not have access to light and some other resources, and which is like really is something that most of people are actually suffering from and are unable to do the daily tasks that required.
We can conserve electricity by doing small things like closing the lights when leaving the room or switching off the plug when you're not using it. Such small things can help. At least you're trying to save electricity, and we should also like focus more on sustainability, and we should try and like use less fossil fuels and like more sustainable.
I think using electrical heaters and power supplies which have stored energy in them, and electrical fans as well.
Electricity can be conserved in like these really simple ways. You can switch off the lights when it's not in use, switch off the AC, switch off cables when you're not charging anything or using the wires for anything.
Well, there are many efforts already being put into use, for instance, using alternatives such as solar energy, wind energy, and nuclear energy in order to produce electricity. And we could make the most minimalistic efforts by ourselves, for instance, by switching off the switches to the lights, using less air conditioning when the weather is fine, even switching to more efficient methods of transportation, for instance, hybrid cars and electric vehicles, and these all hand in hand will aid in order to have a more sustainable future in regards to saving electricity.
Electricity can be conserved by using it efficiently, making better choices, and not only that, but also saving it to its full extent.
In my home country we do, but over here not much. Like the light always goes out and for like an hour, and there's like a schedule at this time light will go out. Yeah.
Are we done?
Personally, yes, in my home country, there's been a lot of electricity overload, which causes a lot of power supply cuts, which should be in
Right now in Dubai, no, thankfully it's not as bad as probably like my home country. Yeah, I'm very grateful for it that we have this.
All right, thank you.
Almost never, absolutely never, because the UAE has taken extreme efforts in order to reduce that problem. A lot of the taxi fleets within the UAE have been changed to hybrid vehicles, and we are very aware, especially in our schools, in regards to saving electricity. For instance, in the past, such awareness was not that profound, and we did not know much about it, but extensive efforts have been taken by the UAE government as well as our schools in order to make the students aware, because being aware, I believe, is the most important part, because if people are not aware, they will not take the measures that are required.
No, actually, I think I'm quite blessed to be in an environment where I'm being provided with electricity 24/7, 365.